Thank you for joining us for another edition of Tuesdays with Trey. I appreciate your time and also would appreciate and solicit your feedback and your comments. The law has the potential to be one of the most unifying and equalizing forces in our country. It has the potential and the promise. We are a nation of laws, not men. That's what we've always been told. We've been told justice is blind, that all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the potential and the promise of the law. And that is why we must have a justice system which is both respected and worthy of respect. We must have law enforcement officers who are both respected and worthy of our respect. We must, in essence, say that even in a world where everything is politicized, our justice system has to be, should be, must be above that. In a world where political opponents are constantly seeking some electoral advantage, surely we can come together and find some commonality as it relates to a mutual, universal desire for a justice system that can withstand any crisis, any challenge, any pandemic, any crime. And yet, in the midst of historically great challenges, Congress, the United States Senate in particular, missed an opportunity this week with our justice system. And I say missed an opportunity, but that suggests some element of unintentionality, doesn't it? That suggests that somehow senators were looking for success, but success was thwarted by these external factors out of our control. Even on an issue as indispensable to the future of our country as respect for the justice system, principles of equality, fairness, justice, public safety, the preeminent issues in our republic, could not defeat what is now the most powerful force in all of the country and all of politics, which is the personal ambition of those involved and those hopelessly and fully dedicated solely to simply winning. I should have known better. Shame on me. I should have known we were never going to have transformative change in a way that benefits our country months before a general election. Shame on me. It was never going to happen. As some of you know, Tim Scott is the person I am closest to in politics and one of the people I am closest to in all of life. He does not have a cynical bone in his body. He really thought this was a moment for the ages. He really thought we had a chance to do something to bring not only some reconciliation to our country, but to actually improve our justice system, the one we all need access to and equal treatment from. He really believed this was our chance. And he did something he rarely does. He took the public lead. Now, he's been taking the private lead for years now on issues like tax reform, economic opportunity, education. He's always been a policy leader in the House and the Senate. He just doesn't take the public lead because he isn't consumed with his own ambition. But he took the lead here. He took the lead legislatively. He took the lead rhetorically. He took the brunt of the criticism, and he did as he always does, and deflected or ignored the praise. He put up with being asked question after question after question about whether he was being used or whether he was a, quote, token. He worked and smiled and worked and loved his way through all of that because he really, in his heart of hearts, wants to see a unification, a reconciliation in this country. He wants us to understand one another better. He wants a fresh start. He comes from not only the state, but the city where the Civil War began. And when he was born, he could not attend the same schools, eat at the same restaurants, or drink out of the same water fountain as me and many of you. But we made progress in our lifetime. We made real, genuine progress. But he knows, and hopefully we know, there is more to be done. And through the pain and the tumult and the anger, he saw an opportunity, not a political opportunity. I don't think he gives a damn about politics. Don't tell him I said that, but I don't think he cares. I love him like a brother, but he doesn't do political opportunity. He saw an American opportunity. He saw a chance to improve the greatest weakness this country has ever had, which is our racial past. He saw a chance for reconciliation and everything that word means, and all the other big words that define thriving, perfecting democracies: justice, equality, fairness. He saw all of the big words that we should be focused on. He just didn't see the biggest word of all, which is politics. This past week, Tim Scott sat down with 3 Democrat senators: Dick Durbin, Cory Booker, and Kamala Harris. Now, I'm going to leave Cory Booker out of my analysis for this reason. I have not talked to Cory since I left Congress, but while I was there, he was someone you could work with. He was someone who made an effort to understand what was possible, what could be accomplished. He did not move the target every single time we got close to it. Cory would even come over on the House side. He would come eat dinner with us on the House side to talk about ways to make our justice system better. I've had conversations with Cory where he understood the conservative or the Republican side of the issue every bit as well as he did his own side. And he was willing to spend equal time analyzing both. Is that the same Cory Booker now? I don't know. I'm not going to judge it or him. Our past interactions have earned him the fairness of hearing me out. Here's what I do know about Dick Durbin. He referred to Tim's bill as a token approach. Think for a minute how many reviews a Senate floor speech goes through. I don't know if Dick Durbin came up with that line on his own or not. Perhaps a member of his staff wrote it, and then others edited it and re-edited it. Which is worse, that Dick Durbin thought it was okay to say that, to use that word with all of its pain, or that members of his staff who had multiple chances to edit it out did not do so? Who on his staff thought it was okay to say to a Black United States senator, token? And what was even worse was his apology. This is what his office said after he had gone out of his way on the floor of the Senate to use a racially tinged word to the only Black Republican United States senator. This is what he said. Quote, the minute he heard he had offended Senator Scott, he sought him out on the floor and apologized. Senator Durbin, what the hell did you think that word was going to do? I mean, the minute you heard it, you had to hear that Senator Scott was offended. You had to hear that. You couldn't have guessed it yourself when you either wrote the word, edited the word, or freelanced the word on your own when you were speaking on the floor of the United States Senate. You couldn't have guessed that. You had to wait to hear that Tim had been offended. I mean, how many synonyms exist for the word token? None of those other less painful words crossed your mind? You chose a word that really is nothing but a dog whistle word. Apologies are great. They're great. Here's one even better. Don't do it in the first damn place. You're in leadership on the Democrat side of the Senate. I'm not sure which is worse, that you were not smart enough to know how that word would be received by a man who's been mistreated and insulted much of his life because he's a Black conservative, or that you knew it but didn't care. I'll let you figure out which is worse.
For the full podcast, go to foxnewspodcast.com.